The right magnetic stand can open up so many new ways for you to use your iPad, and as every iOS 17 update makes the iPad feel even more capable, over on the accessories side too, we're seeing a lot of innovation this year. So I thought it'd be great to take stock of all the different iPad stand options you've got these days and figure out which one is the best for you. We're going to start with a stand that I think is kind of the standard bearer for the magnetic iPad space, and that is the MagFlött by Charging Pro. The MagFlött was the first iPad stand that I picked up over a year and a half ago, and I think quietly it's been inspiring a lot of the other companies that we're going to talk about today, just by embodying the essentials of what makes a really brilliant dock for your iPad. It has an elegant, sleek design that colour matches brilliantly with Apple's silver and space grey colourways. It's made with high quality materials, including very strong magnets that will suspend your iPad in the air and make it look like it's floating. And it's got a reliable set of hinges that will allow your iPad to rotate 360 degrees in one direction and flip 180 degrees in the other. If you appreciate a clean desk, then you'll also love the fact that it comes with a nice little corner cable that actually pops through a hole in the back of the stand and becomes completely invisible if you are just looking at the iPad front on. I'd say if you're just looking for a simple stand that's going to look beautiful on your desk, this is the perfect place to start. But Charging Pro has also released a brand new Kickstarter this year that has introduced us to the MagFlött Pro. I was lucky enough to try out the prototype early this year, and it basically comes with this nice little locking mechanism on the back of the stand that allows you to extend the height. That means that no matter how tall you are or how high your monitor is, you'll be able to snuggle up your iPad right next to your screen and create a really ergonomic space for yourself. Charging Pro also have another really cool device that I want to talk about later on in the video. But first, if you are looking for a simple stand that's maybe a little bit less expensive than the Charging Pro, then you could turn your eye to the Benks Infinity Pro stand. Short disclaimer, Benks did originally send me this device, but I'm not being paid to talk about it in this video, and I still think it's a really good option for people who are on a little bit more of a budget than the MagFlött. It fulfills many of the same functions. It's also a little bit shorter than the MagFlött, but it does come with a really cool characteristic in that you can actually rotate it on a 360 axis, and that is actually really nice as well if you're somebody who is constantly adjusting the position of their iPad on their desk. Another way you can manipulate the Benks stand that you can't do on the MagFlött is to actually tilt it forwards and backwards, but it doesn't do a great job actually holding up the weight of the iPad if you want to start using it at a lower angle. So you might think this is a better option if you're a digital artist, but actually there is a much better option for that, and that is the Lab 22 Infinity Adjust stand. I don't know what it is about these companies using the word infinity, but there you go. The Lab 22 stand was actually developed by Sarah Dici, whose name you might know, alongside Moment, and it's a really solid stand. In fact, it's the heftiest stand that I've got out of all this range, and it really feels like it's built for purpose. And that heft, along with the dual arms on this monitor, allows you to suspend the iPad at a really low angle, and it makes it perfect for heavy-duty note takers or digital artists. This was also a Kickstarter, and like many of those projects, there have been some production issues, and that means that you won't ever be able to buy the white version that I've got again because they had issues with the paint, but it does come in a black and a space grey version, which you'll be able to pick up on the Lab 22 website. To be honest, I can see why they don't want to do a full rollout of the white paint, because although I've actually been pretty careful with my stand, I still managed to scratch the surface of that paint, and it just detracts a little bit from what is a really beautiful product. I absolutely love these little blue accents on the hinge, and the way you can manipulate this stand compared to some of the others, it just feels like a really solid and reliable device. So you can also get a headphone stand and an iPhone stand that go alongside it, so if you're looking for a really unified setup, then this is a brilliant option to look at. But you know, this hinge mechanism is just a small example of how companies are really pushing the iPad stand as an accessory. There is one company that has really endeavored to make this feel like much more of a dock that can form a central hub for a full desk setup with your iPad. So let's take a look at the Magfit magnetic docking station. This one was also provided to me by Magfit, but again, I'm not being paid to talk about it in this particular video. The Magfit has a lot of ambition in that it's integrated an entire USB-C hub into the base of the stand. As more external devices get supported by iPadOS, for example, the addition of external webcams in iOS 17, it really does feel like you can now start to build out more of a traditional desk setup for your iPad using a dock like this. Being able to plug in headphones is a real bonus if you want to make the most of something like Logic Pro on your iPad, or just use an old pair of headphones that have become defunct on other devices that you have. And it is really cool to just have that SD card reader right there in the base, ready to go whenever you want to work on a Lightroom project. The one thing I would say is that on my stand in particular, over time, I've somehow lost functionality with that SD card. It just doesn't read any images anymore. Hopefully my one is just a bit of a malfunctioning device, but it's just good for you to know if it's something that you want to buy this stand for. And to tell the truth, I think it does belie a slightly lower level of production quality compared to the other stands that we've spoken about so far. The materials they've used, as well as the magnet system, feel a little bit less premium, so it's up to you. Do you value this additional functionality with the USB-C hub, or do you want to go for something that looks really beautiful and has less moving parts that are likely to break? You also have the option of taking this completely the other direction and finding a stand that also transforms into a case that you can take with you wherever you're going. Yes, we are talking about the Moft Folio, which was also provided to me by Moft, and again, is not something I'm being paid to talk about in this video. To the unassuming eye, the Float Folio just looks like a normal case that's gonna protect your iPad in, say, a bag, but you can fold it all the way up into this stand using this kind of origami style system that creates this really kind of dramatic pose for your iPad to stand on. And it's a really great and affordable option if you just want to have one case, one accessory that can perform multiple roles for your iPad. It's obviously not going to be as sturdy and robust as some of the other stands that we've been looking at today, and it does take a bit of a learning curve to actually get used to the folding feature to kind of do it consistently well. But it's, I think, a really brilliant option if you just want to dabble in an iPad stand and also just get a nice case alongside it. I did mention that I was going to talk about another Charging Pro product that is personally my favorite amongst all of these different stands, and that is the MagFlött VESA mount. Now again, I had the opportunity to look at the prototype of this earlier in the year, and I was just blown away with how much life it added to my desk setup as a partner monitor for my computer. Charging Pro have taken the magnet boards from the other stands that they make and basically added a VESA adapter onto the back of it. This means that you can get it in exactly the right place next to your monitor and really make the most of those universal control features when you're at your desktop. I think this is brilliant if you already have an iPad and you want to get started in some kind of design work, but you don't want to put up all the money for a really expensive monitor that's going to get you color accurate display all the time. So you can check for color accuracy by just dragging files over to your iPad in universal control mode, or if you just want to have a brilliant companion media player next to your desktop, it's just a brilliant addition to any desk setup. And something I'm really excited about in the final version of this product is that following user feedback, they've also added a tripod connector onto the back of the stand. So if you want to use the iPad as some kind of filming device and make the most of all those new Final Cut camera features, then this is going to be the perfect option. Hopefully today you've seen that there are a wide range of different magnetic stands out there, and that depending on your use cases, one might be a little bit better than the other. For more in-depth showcases of what each of these stands can do, I've created a playlist, so just click here to watch that. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in a bit.